Everyone, it's Emily Williams Knight here, and I know it's probably hard to believe, but there are not boxes separating the three of us or four of us like we always had before, but we're down in Austin, and tonight we're actually just going to share with you a year in review. We were trying to capture for our board and for all of you what this last 12 months was like, and we know we haven't walked in your shoes and we can't imagine what it's been like, but we feel like we've been along this journey with you. And so the video that we want to introduce to you is just going to go back to that March 19th when the lights went out in our restaurants. And I think it's so appropriate that we are just on the tail end of getting additional capacity and helping to grow our businesses once again. But we don't want to forget the journey we've been on. There's a lot of pain in that journey, but there's also some incredible innovation. And so as you watch the next, 5, 6, 7 minute video, hopefully it'll take you back to the good times and also obviously the very, very challenging times. Just to intro this, because I do have my great colleagues here, we're just going to each share a moment. And I think for me, my moment was never before have restaurants been more important in the state of Texas or across the nation. We learned very clearly that restaurants aren't just about entertainment. Restaurants feed people. At the core of what we do, we actually provide nutrition to human beings. And I think what we found is that without us, we actually can't exist as communities or as a state or a nation. And so I'm super proud of that. And I think that's the moment for me, which is going to forever, I think, define this last year.
That's perfect. My moment was whenever we rolled out the comfort food care packages. Honestly, I think in 2020, that was a really important project that we worked on with the governor's office to get family meals provided by restaurants with money donated from consumers delivered to the people that were at risk the most. Those are the people that couldn't get access to clean food. Like Emily was saying, those people really needed it the most. And so rolling out that program was really significant. And one that stands out in particular is Mosquito Cafe from Galveston. He in particular had received many orders from the community and also donated in addition to that. So that was really special.
Excellent. Kels?
I'll piggyback on that and say the moment that really stands out to me is when we launched the Texans Hospital Initiative this past winter storm. Many of you know this story, but I literally got a call Monday evening in the middle of the storm from a friend of a friend who represents a hospital, and you could just hear the desperation in her voice. And she was like, we are out of food for all of our doctors, and pretty quickly we're going to be out of food for our patients. Anna and I sprung into action with a bunch of our TRA team, and in a matter of hours, we had a whole website to connect hospitals and restaurants and help them actually purchase the restaurant food, which was so great because we were helping so many people at once. So that was a really great moment, and I think just goes to show that we are a lean but very mean team that gets things done quickly. So that was great.
That's awesome. Joe?
For me, it definitely was when we launched the Texas Restaurant Relief Fund and seeing how people leaned in both from outside and inside our industry to make sure that people were helped. We were able to put grants out that not only helped to keep your doors open and your employees working, but the way you all then reached out and helped us feed over 100,000 first responders across the state, as you always do. How people innovated in groups like Ellis and his staff at El Arroyo, throwing virtual concerts and putting out family meals at Christmas and continuing to band together. And actually, I think all three of our stories really exemplify how when we work together, we can do anything. And that's been kind of the theme throughout the last year. It's been very, very cool.
So sit back, no letter to read tonight, watch this video and just be reminded of a year that we'll never forget. And we are certainly so excited to be on this journey with you as we enter year 2 of COVID that I think is going to be a much more positive year for all. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night. Bye.
Bye.
Hindsight is 2020 has been said by many who happily closed the door on a tumultuous year, listing pandemic memories as best forgotten. For the Texas Restaurant Association, however, 2020 could be more accurately described with the line, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times."
Coming off a record sales and growth year for our industry, especially in Texas, the TRA launched into 2020. We were full of excitement, hope, and optimism to achieve an ambitious agenda with our new president and CEO and a transformative 1-year strategic plan. Q1 2020 was busy and productive.
Events occurred across the state. The annual Golden Fork Awards Gala in Houston, Dallas's eye-popping food and fashion fundraiser, and our regional Pro Start Invitationals in Austin and Dallas. We established the Texas Restaurant Association Law Center, bringing on partners Monty and Ramirez and Jackson Lewis to provide legal advice to our members that would become vital in the coming months.
The idea of COVID-19 was just that, something happening across the ocean that no one could have predicted would change the course of our year so dramatically, nor impact an industry so severely. We held our spring board meeting at the Lakeview Resort north of Austin,
a gathering of our leadership that, though only 1 year ago, seems like a lifetime has passed. Many speculated about the true impact of the pandemic at that board meeting, especially after Austin canceled South by Southwest, the area's largest conference and massive revenue generator for hotels, retailers, and of course, restaurants.
Then, on March 19th, Governor Abbott announced the closure of all in-person and outdoor dining, putting the state in lockdown.
They say that it is in a crisis that you truly recognize the value in something. As confusion and rumors swirled, the TRA stepped up and immediately began to collaborate with the governor's office, providing up-to-the-minute information for all Texas's restaurants.
Facilitating communication between our legislators and restaurants, the TRA introduced a daily update newsletter.
Virtually overnight, our readership multiplied from 5,000 to more than 27,000 users. We put forward new tools to provide support and guidance to our grassroots audience, even accidentally shutting down the state's email server. One thing is certain, the TRA was noticed, heard, and support for our industry came from the governor's office and other administrative organizations in many forms.
We brought your voice to a loud, thunderous roar and made sure both our legislators and the public understood the challenges the pandemic brought to all restaurants. The staff spent days and nights working to secure whatever relief possible and chart a path to reopening restaurants quickly and safely.
Efforts that included key waivers, like the grocery waiver, retail waiver, and of course, alcohol to go, twice. Texas Restaurant Promise guidelines that worked in collaboration with the governor on how restaurants would be open. We launched one of only 2 relief funds that support restaurants directly with the Texas Restaurant Relief Fund. Corporations, individuals, and your fellow restaurateurs came together to support raising more than $3 million and enabling more than 600 grants to be given to independently owned restaurants across the state of Texas.
And, as has always been the case with our community, we stepped up and restaurants responded with comfort food care packages, food distribution, and even provided support after a few hurricanes brushed our shores. We brought the industry experts to provide support on pivoting your restaurant's business models with webinars across a variety of topics, and by August, every TRA webinar file was ready for the virtual marketplace event, the first of its kind. We worked across all layers of government, from local municipalities with initiatives like Save the Riverwalk, and even just ensuring that your local officials understood the reopening rules.
At the federal level, we collaborated to ensure that the PPP Flexibility Act was passed, and then went toe-to-toe with the Secretary of the Treasury on PPP deductibility, making sure that it was included in the most recent round of relief.
Throughout this time, the image of the TRA has been front and center, our collaboration with the governor's office and reopening strike force unparalleled, and resources for members and non-members extensive. We left our doors open to the entire industry throughout 2020.
The battle is not yet over. We will continue to fight for the recovery of our industry and ensure Texas's restaurants have the support they require.
Our legislative agenda reflects this, as do the hearts of every staff member and board member across the 23 chapters that make up the Texas Restaurant Association and our Education Foundation. We will not rest until we are back to where we should be. That is the value of membership, the value of being part of this community. We are there for you and fight for each restaurant, big or small.
Operating leaner than ever throughout this chaotic time, the board and staff of the association continued working on the goals and objectives of the strategic plan. With online living as the new normal, we conducted our business throughout the year.
Our online virtual TRA marketplace highlighted many of our steadfast exhibitors and supporters. It also brought new technologies and educational seminars to restaurateurs to support the continued evolution of their business models in a COVID-19 world. We honored restaurateurs' ingenuity and compassion with the Pandemic COVID Awards and inducted Tracy Vaught and David Cole into the TRA Hall of Honor.
2 Texas ProStart schools received Rachel Ray grants for new culinary classrooms, Dalhart and Rio Vista, And in partnership with the Escoffier Culinary School, the TRAEF provided teachers with incredible online resources to use in their virtual classrooms as they too upended their idea of normal.
Preparation for the legislative session began with online and virtual visits with lawmakers, individually and in small group town halls, creating strong relationships that are invaluable as we move deeper into the 2021 legislative session. The fundamental structure of our organization evolved in 2020. We passed new bylaws for both the association and foundation and added 30 new board members. We established geographic regions to ensure that our 23 chapters all benefit from the resources and support of the staff located in our 4 offices, making one association that much stronger.
This new, stronger, bolder association received a brand facelift to match its new attitude, champion a new era thanks to the work from board member Liz Berry, and the first branded merchandise was rolled out. Our Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin headquarters offices moved to match the needs of today's TRA, and the immense project of rebuilding our technology infrastructure in the cloud to bring our resources well into this 3rd decade of the 21st century began and was worked on behind the scenes.
In a year when most nonprofits dramatically downsized or faced the threat of extinction, the TRA thrived. We demonstrated our value to Texas restaurants, and in turn, they added their voice to ours. We retained 90% of current members and added more than 350 new members. We ended 2020 achieving financial stability for both the association and foundation, accomplishing more than 85% of our strategic goals while managing and guiding the industry through the COVID-19 pandemic. Looking back over an unprecedented year, we experienced some outstanding highs and some heartbreaking lows. We carried our members with us each day, and it was their pain and hope that was the fuel we needed to be an unrelenting force with our state and federal leaders. With the onset of 2021, we've transitioned from recovery to revival. Our sights set firmly on rebuilding the Texas restaurant industry and achieving the goals that we've set for ourselves and those we serve. The good news, we are already seeing this reality take shape. We've kicked off the 87th legislative session with an aggressive agenda. We've launched a new 1-year strategic plan to navigate the association through the remainder of the pandemic. We've increased member engagement and the number of ways we can support our members' recovery, and we've dug in to ensure any harmful bills in Congress do not see the light of day. Our team is committed to working together every day for you. Our members are what matters, and their success is our success. Morale is high, and the mission has never been clearer.